How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Good to meet you.
Good to meet you. Sorry, I have a presentation. Will I be able to share my screen?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great.
I'll just make you the host, but you would have to admit people while
Great. How many people are we expecting?
um usually around 10 to 20 people.
Great.
Um, okay, I just made you the host. You can
Great. And then what do you think? Will it give people like 10 minutes and then get started or 5 minutes?
you can actually start so that you can cover up what you have because we'll be recording and the recording will be made available to maybe people who didn't come in on time.
Great. Um, yeah, and 30 minutes speaking and then how much time for the Q&A?
10 minutes.
Great.
I think we can start right away. Hello, everybody. Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you're connecting from. I don't know if you can hear me. If you can, please, you could just, if you can't hear me, you can indicate in the chat box. However, welcome to our seminar today. And I hope you're all doing good. Our guest speaker is live. She's here already. Um, Cizem. I hope I pronounced that correctly. She's an AI governance analyst. Um, she's currently working at the French Center for AI Safety. She holds a Master of Science in Artificial Intelligence and Ethics from Northeastern University, London. Her dissertation focused on public perception of AI and moral rights. In her role, Sue has facilitated the AI Ethics, Safety, and Society course at the Center of AI Safety and she has organized webinars introducing AI safety and ethics to non-technical professionals. She also contributes regular column on AI ethics for Haber 3, an independent Turkish newspaper addressing the societal impact of AI technologies. So I will just hand over the platform to her. Let's welcome her. I'm sure we all have our pen and papers to take notes because I'm sure you're going to take something out of today's meeting. So Sue, you're welcome. Please take the platform.
Please mute everyone, Ms. Mira.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. And thank you for that lovely introduction. I had the pleasure of meeting Victor and colleagues at when we were all in Paris for the AI Action Summit. And it's been great to see how proactive everybody has been since then. Like the introduction signaled, I'll be talking a little bit about AI safety ethics, but the majority of this presentation will be on AI governance, which is what I currently work on. Um, Great. And one of my colleagues also just joined the meeting, so I can go ahead and get started. Hello, Camille. Okay, so I'll try to keep this quick. I'll first introduce our organization, what we do, the kinds of things we work on. And then as a member of the policy team, I'll introduce sort of the biggest work in progress we have at the moment, and that's I think the area that I would love your involvement the most with. So a little bit about CESIA. I'll call it CESIA. It's the French Center for AI Safety. It's different than the Center for AI Safety in America. I also facilitate courses for them, but we call it CESIA for short. And we engage in a variety of activities. Our main mission is to reduce large-scale risks from advanced artificial intelligence, and we do this via different channels, either by educating the general public. We teach accredited university courses, offer workshops, boot camps, webinars like this, mainly targeting the French-speaking audience. But all of our work is almost duplicated in English. We also conduct research and development. And a lot of advocacy, especially in the policy space. Some of our activities, like I said, can be visualized here. These are some of the events that we've hosted or participated in. And we also have technical evaluations we do under CESIA, as well as contribute different reports to different organizations, boot camps like ML for Good. So, and we have a working textbook currently that we are writing. So there's a lot of really great things. We participate also in the touring dialogues with a lot of other great organizations. So for the policy part, most recently we were contributing to the EU Code of Practice. And um, I'm not monitoring the chat, but I think it would be helpful to put your questions in there just so we could refer to them at the end. And do let me know if I'm moving too fast. But yeah, the Code of Practice was our last big project, and currently we are writing a report. Our report is focusing on international AI governance. We identify some of the gaps currently, and we address it with offering some solutions. And this report looks at two questions. We ask, how quickly can the world establish governance frameworks before AI outpaces our ability to control it? And how could that look given what we currently have? So for this, we identify 8 key areas of action and 4 pillars for effective global AI governance. This work is currently not published, but will be next week. So everybody here gets a little sneak peek, which is exciting. And your feedback is very valuable because it could actually change the contents of the report. I'll quickly give an introduction to AI safety, ethics, and governance, and then I'll introduce more broadly AI governance. So, when we talk about AI, we consider it to be two things, both a really great sign of technological and societal progress, but also as a potential source of significant risk, just based off of how powerful and different it will be to other technological advancements we've had. When we talk about AI safety, we try to address the potential sources of risks, hopefully proactively before anything major happens, so that we could harness the opportunities in progress. This looks like a couple different areas. So AI safety focuses on AI alignment, aligning AI with human values, scalability, how much bigger could we make the current paradigms for training, robustness, will the technology we're developing adapt to changes in society, and containment, will we be able to control this powerful technology? AI ethics is similar, but a little bit different. AI ethics deals with moral and societal implications of AI. These look like topics in bias and fairness, transparency, accountability, autonomy and consent, and social justice. There is a lot of overlap between AI safety and AI ethics, but fundamentally they are focusing on different things. Oops, sorry. I don't know if somebody wanted to speak. I'll keep going. And finally, AI governance is focusing on the rules, processes, institutions, and oversight mechanisms to ensure ethics and safety in AI development. So I hope that was a nice, quick introduction so that we could move on to the content. I'm happy to spend a little bit of more time in the end clarifying things. Um, but to present our report, so as I mentioned, we are focusing on the four pillars for effective global governance, and we believe them to be institutional architecture, the scientific foundation, the rules of the road, and
No, sorry, Mr.
sorry,
Peter, how are you?
I think you're not muted.
Fine. Sorry, this is Professor Abdulhamid.
Sorry, I muted you. I don't know if you were speaking to me, but maybe it's best to put the questions in the chat for now, and then we could address them in the end. Um, So those are the areas that I'm going to be talking to you about in more detail now. Before that, I'll introduce what the current state of AI is in the report. So we look at AI safety concerns across different metrics. Some of them are that AIs are matching human capabilities across different metrics that we thought were mostly for humans only, like IQ tests, math exams, bar exams, creative thinking benchmarks, scientific problems. And this is leading to a lot of progress or potential progress in scientific discovery, cybersecurity, and biosecurity, all enabled by artificial intelligence. Those are sort of the goals. And with that comes many risks. The ones that we focus on are risks from um, malicious use, different dynamics in AI development, different races that are happening both geopolitically and um, from the perspective of companies, um, corporations, organizational risks. They just kind of naturally arise from AI. For powerful technology, just because of different dynamics there are in organizations. Misalignment, we are potentially creating a technology that won't share our values in the long term, and systemic risks. Even if we do develop this technology as safely
Andrew,
as possible, we might be at
careful for
risk
you to
not
use
having. Oh, sorry.
yeah.
Again, I'm going to manually mute. Sorry. Yeah, so the systemic risks are a little bit more socio-technical. So they say even if we have the right technology, we might not have a social system that's capable of adapting this technology. Um, so governance here is very informative because it shows us what are the different mechanisms we have. And we have a couple that run in parallel and also overlap. The most significant one we point to in our report is the AI Summit series, which started with Bletchley Park in the UK, then South Korea, and most recently in Paris, where, as I mentioned, we met with the AAAI organization. And the next one is confirmed to be in India. There have also been a really great network of AI safety institutes that have sort of emerged globally, again, starting with the US and UK. But yeah, other countries have also um, pursued, and now there's a great network of AI safety institutes. This is still a very new network, and these institutes are also new, so we're still in the developing phases of seeing what's going to happen with this. Um, there's also other global processes, more diplomatic processes that have tried to initiate governance in AI. Some of these I point to here. But these all come with their own challenges. Some of them I will kind of point to in a really funny way here. So we believe that the biggest challenge, or one of the biggest challenges, is that the global mechanisms are not robust. They're either geographically limited, the commitments that we have are voluntary, um, the implementation of those commitments are fragmented across different institutions, and there is a lack of diverse stakeholder representation. So, not that many people get a seat at the table when making decisions about the future of AI. Um, there's other tensions like that are more inherent in harnessing powerful technology, and those look like the different speed at which decisions need to be made to keep pace with AI advancements, but how long actual consultation, negotiation, and consensus building takes in building robust policy frameworks. Um, there's also the tension between having voluntary commitments and mandatory regulations. We want voluntary commitments because they're flexible and adaptable, and the technology is changing. But mandatory regulation is more enforceable and it gives more accountability to the actors. Some shortcomings of mandatory regulations are that they're more inflexible compared to voluntary ones. They risk over-regulation, and there's a big issue with coordination. And yeah, voluntary commitments have their shortcomings. They're not so enforceable, and they're inconsistent across different regions and different organizations. Um, Another big challenge, big point of tension in AI governance is open versus closed AI development. So open technological development, especially in software, has historically been a really positive development, but it's much harder to regulate. Closed software development or technological development is easier to regulate, but it risks concentrating capabilities and developments in a small number of nations, in a small number of organizations that have the capacity to develop them. Another one which we don't really agree with is this tension between innovation and safety. Sometimes it's framed like safety gets in the way of innovation. We think not. We think there's a coexistence here. Safer AI development could mean more innovation in the future. This is a point we tried to make in the report. So given all of those challenges, we identify some opportunities. Institutional momentum. There is a lot of international collaboration currently being developed, both in technical standards and these bilateral meetings. Industry and government are collaborating. These are good. There's this idea of a potential CERN for AI floating around. This might be a really great thing. It might not be, but this is kind of, at least there's conversation about this, which gives us a good opportunity. There's also more consensus on risks. There's different ways, that different commitments being made to address risks. We are trying to center AI development around human values and human rights. There's more scientific consensus compared to previous years. There is a growing recognition of existential risks from advanced AI. In one of the studies that we cite, the figures are really high, where at least we're agreeing on like the worst case scenario with AI development, which is a great place to start. There's been an expert consensus paper first in May that warned that current governance mechanisms are insufficient, which then led to this international AI safety report, which tried to build a consensus around the current state of the art of AI safety methods and risks. And still in that report, people are calling for more international collaboration and research. The gap in AI safety research is massive. This is an area we really want to address. According to this one study, AI safety publications make up only 1 to 3% of all research that's being done on AI, which is a really, really, really small number compared to how risky it might be. One reason for this we think could be because that funding for AI development and research far outweighs funding for AI safety, and this might be a reason why people aren't so incentivized to work on AI safety. Here's one of the only figures that are being tossed around. These are really large numbers, but still not that large compared to the billions that are being invested into AI development. Most AI safety funding comes from philanthropic organizations. There's not really governments allocating funding to AI safety that much compared to others. I think the UK government has committed a substantial amount, but definitely we want to see these figures grow. And incidents related to AI safety are increasing. There's a database. There's actually two databases that we cite in the report, and both of them continue to report higher instances of AI-related risks, errors in medical records, inaccuracies in child protection, misuse and disinformation campaigns, fraud, fabricated videos, explicit content, targeting students, facial recognition errors. These are really serious things that need to be addressed, and capabilities are only growing. And there is an increased global interest in AI governance. Um, Primarily, everything that has originated for AI policy was shaped through the US, UK, EU, and China, but there is also more global initiatives. Also, from the global majority, there's growing interest in participating in global governance. I'll point out here African Union's Continental Artificial Intelligence Strategy and Singapore's AI Playbook for Small States. I know Nigeria has been particularly active in AI ethics and safety, and yeah, it's really great to see. And I'd love to hear more feedback about all the different things that we could include in this report. Um, so coming back to the four pillars, as I've tried to lay out here, there's kind of a scattered landscape of different initiatives. They all seem to be working towards similar goals. We want to develop this technology safely. So we think this way of thinking about AI governance with the four pillars could provide a nice overview of what needs to be done to get better use of our global governance frameworks. So, firstly, we want to point out institutional architecture. As I've said, there's a lack of institutional coordination among artificial intelligence safety institutes. Um, some of them are really developed and do a lot of technical testing, and they have a lot of sort of different goals, and their jurisdictions operate on sort of different different benchmarks and technical levels. We think that there is an absence of a standard international body to monitor AI risks, and there's a lack of continuity between summits. So, to offer solutions, we recommend strengthening the network of AI safety institutes. I'll talk a little bit more about how that could be done. Um, we want to really highlight the role of the UN, having sort of this body that people can turn to, and and they sort of monitor things globally, diplomatically, and to formalize the AI Summit series. Because as we've seen with Paris and probably with India, every country that hosts the AI summits might have a different agenda. Now we are going far away from where we started with AI safety in the UK. So we recommend, sorry, I'm going to admit somebody, we recommend strengthening those. And that looks like a little bit more detail. Let me just check the time. We have 5 minutes. I'm going to try to be a little bit more quick. Yeah, the network of international AI safety institutes, we think you can develop secure information sharing systems, a tiered membership. You have core members, associate members, observer members, so that everybody can contribute what they think makes sense. Joint testing exercises, sharing technical methods, encourage AI safety institutes to contribute to scientific consensus building, like the International Report on AI Safety and the UN-led Scientific Panel on AI. Help develop international standards. This is currently a work in progress, but we are slowly getting there. And to support the establishment of AI safety institutes in areas that lack the national capacity currently. Strengthening the summit series, we would organize these around two components, one that focuses on advanced AI and one that explores public interests. And to do this, we suggest a kind of mechanism of like a hybrid model with a rotating secretariat and a permanent secretariat. And it looks like this. Sorry, I'm going to rush a little bit towards the end. There's a lot more detail in the report. and I'm happy to share the report if anybody is interested. So we suggest structuring the AI Summit series so that between each country that hosts it, there are things that stay sort of consistent. The topics discussed stay consistent, so that we get the most out of them. We also suggest, as a second pillar, strengthening the scientific foundation of AI safety. Um, and yeah, we suggest continuous publication cycles. We incorporate the reports that are being written into these summit agendas. And we formalize coordination between different organizations and the UN. Um, this is a big one. We think there should be more investment in research and coordination. Maybe a way to do this would be ambitiously to set up a mandatory AI safety fund. Um, oh, sorry, I'm going to mute here. Um, And third, establishing rules of the road. There's currently an absence of legally binding global accountability mechanisms. There are no global laws about AI. There are no international agreements that are formal and enforceable. And we want to increase the accountability that companies have who are developing this technology and set risk thresholds and boundaries we don't want to cross because we think they're unacceptable. Um, there's a couple different frameworks that currently exist. We want to also encourage a common protocol for public reporting of risks. I just showed you two databases. They're not really formal, like these could definitely be developed. Um, Maybe companies that will develop really, really risky technology need to go certification like other industries do. Um, we also want to continue to build a strong ecosystem of organizations that will evaluate this technology and these companies. Um, Maybe something like the AI Safety Research Fund could be helpful for this because all of these are costly initiatives. And we want to set risk thresholds and boundaries. This is the big one. Currently, like I've modeled this slide out of the EU AI Act, but the what entails these different categories might not be agreed with universally. These are very specific to EU values, but I thought this framing is very helpful. Having unacceptable risks that we all agree on, saying we don't want to develop this, um, and have an international consensus which we call red lines that would trigger an international response. Once this level of risk is achieved, we are going to do a specific protocol that we've all agreed on, because that currently doesn't exist. And this would be reviewed and updated periodically. And the last one is a really important one, is to ensure access. Um, There are, yeah, as we've mentioned, development and deployment are currently concentrated in a few countries, but there's no effective agreements that like the benefits of AI will be shared. Even in more extreme cases where allocation of resources and capital are concentrated in just like a handful of companies, we definitely don't have a social system that's capable of dealing with that. And we have to proactively decide what the world's going to look like if AI does end up becoming really, really profitable. Um, and yes, sorry, and I think that is sorry, yes. There's more information here, but I'll end it so we have enough time for question and answer. And if you're interested in anything I've discussed, we always are looking for collaborators. If you're interested in research, if you're working in industry, government, academia, do get in touch with me. There's a lot here we could discuss further, but for now, I will maybe wait for the Q&A. I see in the chat, Victor, that you've asked for the report. So we have next week the intention to publish it. Currently, we're taking feedback, but the feedback round is almost over. But yeah, if anybody's specifically interested in seeing the report before it's released, thinks they could contribute something really significant, please email me here. We have about a window of a week to do that. So yes, sorry, I'll take the questions now.
Thank you so much, Sue, for this insightful lecture. I'm sure that a lot of people here would want to ask questions, but before I open the floor, um, I have a question I would love to ask. Given the unique social, political, economic landscape of Africa, what key AI governance framework and safety measures do you believe we should prioritize to ensure ethical AI deployment in the continent?
In the continent of Africa,
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of really great regional initiatives that have been coming out. Maybe it would be great to see a more unified stance on policy in the continent of Africa, just like the EU is trying to do with Europe. Um, I think uh, getting a little bit more representation about, especially the building the infrastructure and talent for AI development. I know it's concentrated a lot in certain cities, maybe having um, more broad expansion of involvement in building the infrastructure. These could be great. I think demanding a seat at a lot of these international initiatives is also important. I know Victor is very active and participates a lot on your behalf, and but yeah, we would like to see much more of that. We think it's yeah very important.
Well, thank you very much. I would open the floor to questions. Please, if you have any question concerning the lecture, can you indicate by a hand and we'll give you the floor.
Yes. I also see there's an interest in the presentation slides. I believe this is recorded and will be distributed to participants, or maybe you share it in a online somewhere. And yeah, as I said, once the report is published, um, I would love to share it with you, and you could sort of read it and give us feedback. We could always implement changes later on. Uh, and thank you so much in the chat for the positive feedback. Is there any particular section you guys enjoyed or found helpful, or you think needs to be developed further? I know we had to rush a bit, but
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, I was reading the comments. I don't know if we have questions, if you can take. Someone is asking for the slides. Would get through to you, or just send your request directly to the WhatsApp number, triple AI WhatsApp number, and we'll get through to you. Um, Apart from this material, it's the okay. You said you were going to send us the report.
yes, so currently it's about to be finished. As I said, there's some feedback that we're trying to incorporate from people outside of our organization. Um, and that should be done next Friday. And then we publish and we start sort of marketing it, and I will make sure to personally send it to you as well.
Okay. Especially concerning the high risks, because you mentioned you showed us a pyramid and you talked about the highest form of threats. When that is detected, it attracts international, it attracts the world. So what, maybe can you shed more light to what sanctions can be given whenever this kind of risk is detected?
Yeah, this is unfortunately, I don't have a good answer, which is a really big shame because the world doesn't have a great answer of what can happen as a response when we think we cross unacceptable levels of boundaries. So unacceptable could be if we really think we have a powerful AI system that doesn't have human interest in mind, and will act against human interests, and a lot of people will be harmed as a result. Um, so in that case, we would want to halt development globally. We wouldn't want just one country to stop and another one to continue. We would want the companies that are developing this technology to be able to assure to the general public that they have like gotten rid of this, deleted the model weights, rather than just paused it and then it will continue harming the world after a period. So currently, we don't know what would happen if that would ha if we would cross a line like that. We would just assume and trust that the companies who have this technology would act responsibly. But it's not just the companies that are competing to have powerful AI models, it's also major global powers. So we definitely want one response to be that there is a really great communication mechanism between global leaders. So one country can just phone another country and say, we've discovered a really dangerous capability. We also think you should be careful about this. Let's meet and discuss what can be done about it. This sounds very basic, but it doesn't exist currently, this kind of communication. We also would like automatic triggers. So, like I said, assurance that the model weights will be deleted and off uh, public access.
Okay, thank you so much. I think this opens us up to further questions, because at this point, first of all, we should be asking questions like, what is our government doing as regards to AI? I'm talking about Africa as a whole. What is our government doing about AI? How can we protect people whenever things like this come up? I think for a lot of experts here, we can write papers on it and see what we can do to be able to help out, to help our countries. So in the absence of no question, thank you so much, Sue.
I think you have some questions on the chat.
That some of us joined late, we are allowed to share our concerns or feedback about this presentation directly with the presenter. Yes, we had the floor open for people to share their concerns, but we're running out of time currently. So you can tailor your questions to the WhatsApp group and it will be forwarded to her. She also made her email available. It's on the screen, so you can send her a direct email to, and I'm sure she'll get back to you. So I don't know if we have any other question.
Great. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. It was such a pleasure. And sorry if it was a bit quick. I had originally planned for speaking a lot faster, but great. I'm very much looking forward to hearing from you if you have any more feedback or if you're curious about the things we're working on, especially after we release the report. Always feel free to get in touch with me. And yeah, thank you everybody so much.
Thank you so much, and do have a pleasant day. Thank you.
Bye. Oops, I'm the host, so I can end the meeting.
All right. Thank you so much.